Only 2 races left in the regular season, and on to the championship next week for the finale. But here tonight from Chicagoland Speedway, it's the KAYTEE IndyCar Series yet again here on V-Speed. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, with camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. This mile-and-a-half racetrack has seen its fair share of action from the IndyCar, just recently added back onto the NASCAR schedule. It's a staple of 1.5-mile racetracks, and the race analysis here tonight with 100 laps, that pit road speed limit at 50 miles per hour with one fast repair, and a little bit of an early start here tonight. 5 minutes sooner than we're usually predicting, and I think it has something to do with the race distance. So the action should be coming to us here shortly as these cars finish up with qualifying. But a look at Chicagoland Speedway. Again, a racetrack that we've talked about previously in the schedule across all disciplines of racing. It's a unique section of racing, but here in the IndyCar, it's going to be even more challenging. You can carry a lot of speed into this 18 degrees of banking, but the multi-groove is there, and you can get a run off of the exit on the high line. Of course, a lot of drivers are going to take it all the way to the bottom to try to maintain these tires here tonight. 4 tire sets at a premium, 1 on the car already, 3 across the wall, and fuel at 40% to start off this event. With that, though, let's take you trackside and get the grid up on the screen. Starting on the top spot will be John Stellard with a 24.680. Number 5 looked bad fast last week. Thought he was going to get the victory. Just shy there on fuel. Zachary King will start in the 2nd position to the outside. Then you have Ezekiel Macrimoni. Marcamoni going to start in 3rd with John Ullman in 4th. Michael Wade and Corey Kobe, 5th and 6th spot. Kyle Turzak, and Gilmette going to start in 8th. Rounding out the top 10 is Reggie Kime. Wesley Burke will start in the 7th. Robert Howard and Drew Green will start 11th and 12th. You have Matthew Gary and 7 Hawthorne in 14th. 15th with Stephen Addington. Jaden Walker will start 16th spot. And with, believe 18 cars on the field here tonight, Tyler Willing and Lilac Zier rounding out. Mason Mitchum actually starting at the tail end, drove all the way through the field, last week's winner in the 3. Here we go for the second to last race. Green flag is out. Chicagoland Speedway. 19 cars for the Mystic in the KAYTEE IndyCar Series. By for lap number 1. Stellar will get it. Zachary King was to the outside there. Or in the wall in the background. I think that's, yes, that is the 49 and the 9 involved in this one. And that's Matthew Gary that we were riding around. And Drew Green happened to tow it to pit road right on lap 1, going on to lap 2. A little bit of a blink moment there. There was a car on the wall in the background, and then that blink put the 83 on the back end of the 9. But Matthew Gary getting the worst end of this. We'll back this up one more time. Try to figure out what car it was that went into the outside wall. There's a Dr. Pepper machine to the outside of 7 Hawthorne. Hawthorne, one of the cars got destroyed on this as well. Jaden Walker having problems with connection. So 2 separate incidents into turn 1. Man, Hawthorne took a hard hit to the wall. Major damage there for the 18. Remember, they do have 1 fast repair here tonight. With a hit like that, though, you have to tow it to pit road, so it's going to take a while before that service would start. And they wave the magic wand down to pit lane. John Steller still your leader. Marco Mini moves it up to 2nd spot. Looks like the 51 of King decided to come in and top off with fuel. Kyle Turzak is on the racetrack tonight. Shout out to Misfit Racing, points leader over there on Tuesday nights. And a rough start here from Chicagoland. This driver wants a redemption from last week. Looked like after the mistake from the 110, who's not here tonight. So Indy not out on the racetrack. The 5 looked like Steller was just going to drive away with the win. Ended up being short on fuel by about 2.5 laps. And that handed the victory over to this driver, who's down pit road for a top off on fuel. Played the fuel games last week and it paid off. Milwaukee Mile, a little bit different than the fuel strategy we'll pull here tonight. But every time you have an opportunity to come in, top off with fuel, these drivers, at least for the back half of the field, are going to do so. With looks like King, Turzak, Kime, Mitchum, Green still on pit road getting damage repaired. And there's 3-4 cars. Matthew Gary, an early exit here in the 97, done for the day. Single file restarts, pace car out of the way. Let's try for a second time with John Steller into turn 1. Into the restart zone we go. Back underway at Chicago. A quick move there by Michael Wade to take away 6th spot. Robert Howard falls back in the number 50 to 7th. And Wesley Burke to the inside at 3 and 4. Looks like Howard maybe trying to save the tires. That higher line not paying off right now. Cluster of cars behind your leader right now. They've all drafted up to him. Corey Covey's going to move to the 2nd position. Got to the inside of Marco Mini. And almost looking 3 wide here with John Ullman taking on board here with the 34. 216 miles per hour through that turn, 230 almost on the backstretch. And there was almost 3 wide again. Now 3 or 4 more cars joined the mix with Wesley Burke. Car down on the apron, that was Kobe. And a little block here to the outside by McRamini. Michael Wade trying to figure out a way around the 77. And a quick block there by that driver to keep him at bay. And slowly accordioning back together. Robert Howard starting to catch up to this group as well. Throw a blanket over the top 10 at this point. And working that outside, Wesley Burke picks up 7 positions, now up to 3rd. Highline looks like it's paying off. Maybe a block here out of 4. Not enough there. Burke still gets the run on John Ullman. And defense here by John Steller to keep the lead. Check up there from the dirty air. Another big run here on the outside. They'll play the bottom line. Work the draft. And you can see in and out of the line, through the corners, getting a little bit of that air from the 34. Seems to be working well enough, but down on the apron, that's a close call. Ullman gets sideways, he's into the grass, and the 34 is going to come back up the racetrack. No caution, but able to keep it off the wall. A close call there from John Ullman. Got a little loose here, we'll back it up and locks it down into the grass. Fantastic job saving this car. Just touched the apron here. You can see the car get sideways on the transition. And wow, we're talking about a few feet there before coming back up the racetrack. That checks everybody up, and now it's a little separation here for John Steller, and it shakes up the top 3. Gilmete works his way up now to the 2nd spot in the 68. John Steller loving what he sees in the mirror. Nobody's had an answer just yet. He has led now every single lap completed. 18 as the field groups back up. First back to 17th. John Ullman in 15th position, about 18 seconds back, but you go back to 14th spot. Most of this field still nose to tail. A little tag with the wall there from Tyler Willing. Only started in 17th, and with this attrition, but a little bit off the pace, you can see putting a lot more wheel into it off those exits. That's a lot more wheel than you probably want to see. Need to lift off the throttle a little bit into the entry of these corners. This is still that kind of mentality of a stock car. Here comes pit stop for the 5. I'll hand the lead over to Wesley Burke. An early stop here for John Steller. And remember, did not come in and top off with fuel. A few of these cars behind him did. Reggie Kahn being one of those cars. And a car on the wall. It's the 77. Caution is out. The 5 is going to get trapped down to pit lane. Wesley Burke is going to cross the line here. And the 5 is going to most likely get pinned a lap down. Marcamini and a few others involved in this one. We'll go back on a replay. There's the contact between him, I believe, that was, yeah, it was Michael Wade in the 33. And then he comes down across the nose. Another car involved there as well. And on the outside wall, I believe that's the 51 of King. On board here with King. That'll cycle us out here on pit lane here, but the 5 will retain the lead after making it out ahead of the pace car, not going a lap down. And everyone else cycling through the pit lane with Wesley Burke, Reggie Kime, Mason Mitchum, all the way back to John Ullman in 12th spot. And that should bring us to the 1 to go signal this time by. And extend the caution one more lap, I believe. You guys trapped down pit road. So it's a perfect opportunity here on V-Speed to take you side by side under yellow. Don't go anywhere. More coverage continues. The KAYTEE IndyCar Series right after this.
Real quick, double check the steering wheel. Gentlemen, start your engines. Nice and smooth. Get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Welcome back to Chicagoland, where the lights have come on. The action continues a quarter of the way through this race. John Stellard has been the dominant car of the day. The 5 has pulled out to a decent lead a couple of different times, and now has just over 20 laps led as we get set to go back green. Kyle Terzak has worked his way into the top 5. Will restart in second spot. Lilac Zier from the back of the field up to third. And the strategies continue as we go back green here at Chicago. Zach with an excellent restart here. Hanging close to the back of Stellar. Battle for the lead within 0.2 of a second. 15's going to look outside, take it back down to the bottom through 3 and 4. Get a big run off of 4. Nowhere to take it right now for the 15. Another peek to the inside. They're side by side back here around the 4th position. Wesley Burke to the bottom inside of, I believe that's the 89 of Zier. Never going to make that pass. Zach not able to complete his. And it looks like third back to around the 8th, 9th position. Pretty close racing. Reggie Kime in the 9. So Kime leads some laps there last week. Zachary King, after using the fast repair, back onto the lead lap for the 51. Albert Howard on 7th position. Biggest mover is Mason Mitchum. Lilac Zier just gained the spot back though. And Terzak into the wall. And not sure what happened here. Go back on a replay and watch the 5 here. The 15 actually 5 in front of him. Ah, the apron strikes again. A heavy hit to the outside wall. Terzak destroyed down the pit lane. Now that extends the lead for the 5, but that heavy hit for the 15 probably going to be done for the day. Now Wesley Burke, gifted 2nd position, has Lilac Zier racing behind. This is what half a second looks like, starting to catch up a little bit here to the 5. Even racing side by side, still having the momentum. We've seen this a couple of times today where drivers have creeped up to the back of the 5 but haven't been able to complete the pass. They can get just within arm's reach, but then after that, the 5 has another gear. Wesley Burke behind the 5. Oh, Almost here into the wall in the background there. Light touch. That's going to hurt the 89. I'll take that back. That was a lap down car. Green machine will back up one more time. I think that was Steve Addington. I'm trying to find John Ullman possibly. Tyler Willing actually in the 36. So a lot of these cars with a similar paint scheme. Gonna watch coming off of turn 4, gets into the outside wall. Tyler Willing goes a lap down, trying to race back up there. Right there, you see it go wrong. Gonna lose even more time. Gilmet on the back end here on the exit of turn 2. Again, another car that can get to the back end of the 5 but can't complete the pass. Traffic about to become a factor. Here's the nose this time for the 68. Off of turn 2, has the run, has just a couple hundredths of a second ahead here for the lead. And down pit road for the 5. Stellar back in. It'll hand the lead over. But scheduled stops, it looks like, for Stellar. Tyler Willing gonna come down as well. Get some of the damage repaired. Pay close attention to this car. He's known for racing through the field. Mason Mitchum started back in 19th. That's last place on this grid. He's worked up to the top 5. Proved last week to be able to pass very easily at Milwaukee. And this racetrack shouldn't have much of a problem. A lot of lanes to choose from. A lot of ways to get around somebody. It has Lilac Zier just in front. Two more cars down the pit lane. That's the 7. Burke down. Gilmet as well from the lead. Walker in the 49. Then Walker about 3 laps down here. Fuel only for the 7, fuel only for the 68, but quicker out here, and the 68 snaps the throttle a little too hard. Loses a little bit of ground and a position. Mitchum still on the racetrack. Zier down as well in the 89. Looks like 4 tires for this one. So going to burn one of those sets. And now Mason Mitchum, after leading a lap, will come in. Reggie Kime in the 9. Mason Mitchum electing to take tires. Actually, a fuel only stop, 5.5 in the box. This will hand the lead back over to John Stellar. Gonna be close here down the backstretch. Stellar now half a second and more. trying to get his lap back at around the 5. 8th place driver slides up in front of the leader. Just allowing Wesley Burke to catch up. Traffic playing a major factor here. Burke has made up about 0.8 of a second now on the back porch of Stellar, coming on to lap 50, halfway mark here for the KAYTEE IndyCar Series. John Stellar on a little bit different sequence than all these other cars around. 3 lap difference on fuel. Maybe in a little bit of conservation mode, riding behind the 50, but for how long do you want to do that? Mason Mitchum is caught up as well. Remember, it was a full second back to 3rd position just a few laps ago. So again, I'll establish John Stellar has lost a ton of time with this lap traffic in front of him, but could also be in fuel conservation mode. We're right on board. Take a look at the telemetry and the RPMs. Getting about 22 laps on fuel here. Zachary King, an early exit to this event. Not sure what happened to King. See if we can go back and find what happened to the driver of the 51. Looks like some damage on the right front, so possibly moved up into the outside wall. Still has it here. Back it up a little bit further. And watch the blue with the green accent on the roof of that car, on the halo. There's contact in the outside wall. That's with the 50. Of Howard there. Watch it from another angle on our blimp camera. Looks like the 50 gets a little loose, comes down into the 51. Another car off the racetrack there into the grass. While we took a replay there, the battle for the lead still within a 10th. Wesley Burke took a stab at it. Oh, the lap cars going back and forth just in front of the leaders there. .77 of Markham Mini, just 3 laps down, doesn't want to lose another one. Robert Howard at threat of going a lap down, running in 8th spot. Tyler Willing, the first car, a lap down if we get a caution in that free pass position. And Gilmet back here running close with, I believe that is Lilac Zier in the 89. We also have the 34 of John Ullman helping with the draft down the backstretch. He continues. Remember, these drivers can use mapping on the ECU to change the fuel ratios and dial this car back. It looks like John Steller might have just done so to save a little bit. We'll get in the draft of Wesley Burke, who will be our first organic pass for the lead. But the 5 already checking up, going to bring it down on lap 19, now on to 20. And the caution comes out again for the 5 of Steller. Robert Howard is around. As is Tyler Willing. Actually, Willing on pit road, so let's find out what happened to Howard. The car is destroyed. He's running with the 77, Marcomeni. I'm not really sure what happened there. Also not sure how that car didn't get hit by somebody else. I don't really see any contact here. It looks like maybe the front end just steps out. Oh, there's a car sideways. If the 50 just stays on the gas here, they're okay. I think that's the 33 of Michael Wade, who came back up the racetrack here. Wade had a problem before that moment coming off of pit lane. Watch this. This is where the 50 gets involved. Third caution of the night, and our first lead change with the 7 making the pass on the 5. And John Steller will have to take a wave around this time by as we line back up single file with Wesley Burke, Mason Mitchum for the front 2 spots. More coverage to continue here for the KAYTEE IndyCar Series. In just a moment's time, you're watching V-Speed. Back with more from Mystic to this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Chicagoland, where Wesley Burke has the lead. Gilmet, Zier, the top three. With a flip on the strategy, we'll have about 34 laps to go when we take the green back underway. The pace car will pull off. It's a very hard left-hand turn onto pit lane. Green flag is out. A big jump here for Burke. A little spin on the tires back there for Reggie Kime. Checks up Corey Kobe. And we'll take it 3 wide into 1. Are down on the apron, able to hang on to it. The 5 of Stellar gets by. Though it's Mitchum and Stellar teammates here going to work through this traffic. John Ullman with damage here. Back this up a little bit. Something happened to Ullman on the initial start, I would say. Got into the back, checked up, sent a car flying over his roof. I believe that was Jaden Walker. Then we would go back to the live shot. There was a car down on the apron. I want to say something happened to Kime here in all of this, but could be wrong. Watch Gilmet. The top 3. Well, there's the contact with Ullman, and wow. Close call there. Wow, we're at the live shot. 3 wide battle for the top spot. Zier's going to take it back from Gilmet. And here comes Kime to look 3 wide down the back stretch. Slicing and dicing at 230 miles per hour down the backstretch. Devin gets put up to the high line. Ellard, the car who's led the most laps today, back into the picture in 5th. Looking 3 wide into 1. Burke on a way high line here. As you're playing defense on the inside, 9 moves to the outside. Here comes this 7 to pick up 2 spots. A 2-for-1 into the entry of 3. These cars should be short on fuel by a long shot. But everyone should be able to make it in one more stop. 3 wide for the lead again. As Gilmet takes it to the bottom, buries it into the corner, comes up and blocks the 7 who has to check up. And that checks up Kime as well. The entire outside line falls apart. And Zier will take it back off of 4. 3 wide again, now for second. John Stellard picking them apart. One at a time. Stellard with the most fuel usage of this top 3. Really tight there off of turn 4 for Wesley Burke. Zier, Stellard, you could pretty much name all of the drivers that have led at least one lap here today. Mason Mitchum starting to creep back towards this as well. The car down there on the bottom, a lap down. Cars with an early exit tonight: Jaden Walker, Robert Howard, Zachary King, Michael Wade, Kyle Turzak, Drew Green, Matthew Gary, and 7 Hawthorne all out with damage. Kime gets really close to touching the wall there, able to save it. Car pushed way up the racetrack. Mitchum's going to gain a couple spots after that. Tyler Willing 1 lap down back here. You have McRamoni that is 3 laps down. Ullman, Addington still out of the racetrack. 11 cars left. And the lead back over to John Stellard. Looking to set sail in the final 20 laps. Has led over half this race now officially. No one can take it away. Most laps led to the 5. In the second to last race of this season. Championship night next week. The 1.33 miler Nashville Super Speedway. Another jab at the lead. Stellard out here for 22 laps now on the stint. Would expect to see the 5 come in within the next 2. Great handle on it there from Burke. Zier also going to come in just behind him. Keep an eye on the pit stop timer on the left-hand side of your screen. This could dictate the race. Into the stall for Burke. Down and away for fuel only. 5 seconds in the box. Stellard down and away as well. Race off of pit road, side by side. Gilmet also in. Mitchum's still out on the racetrack. Gonna put these cars a lap down. This could be for the race lead in just a moment. Be the final stop of the day. Reggie Kime coming off of pit lane. Corey Kobe down in for service on the 86. Mitchum continues to lengthen out this lead. And the battle will be between the 5 and the 7 in these closing laps. If you're the 5, you've shown your hand several times tonight on how you're going to defend this lead. But Burke has been one of the few drivers that has figured it out. These runs seem to come quick as Stellar back out, or Mitchum actually back out on the racetrack, flirting with that white line. You have to be careful not to get a penalty on the exit of pit road. Everything checks out, but 1.8, 1.9 seconds, losing a ton of ground to these two in front of them. Indigo signal up in the air for John Stellar, and it's time for defense for Wesley Burke. It's time for a pass. Will we see it here into 1? No, we won't. Hard to keep pace with this. You saw the 5 kind of go up high a little early, thinking the 7 was going to take the outside. And this time, it looks like the 5 has to lift out of the throttle a little early here. 7 with a slight brush to the wall. Wesley Burke not able to complete at that time. The car smokes the wall back there. That's Zier. These two have caught up. Drafted back up. Mitchum on the full map for power. Taking it to the outside. 3 wide for the lead. That'll allow Wesley Burke a little push there on the back end, but take some of that downforce into the corner. And now 5 cars have the potential to snag this win away with 5 laps to go. Corey Kobe into this mix as well. A move up the middle by the 3. Mitchum can't quite get it done again on the outside. Block to the bottom. Dellert holds off on Burke. Mitchum gets the run into 1. 4 to go. Burke looking for a lane, can't find it. Pass completed by Mitchum with 3 laps left. Dellert falling behind a little bit here. High lane chose again by Burke. Zier going to take the high line for third. Mitchum gets 2 to go. Another move here by John Steller to the outside. Mitchum going to see the white flag up in the air one more time around from Chicagoland as we go 3 wide into turn 1. Mitchum allows the 7 back up onto the racetrack. Not a lot of room here in front of him. It's going to take a sin from Burke as you see Steller up through the middle. Mitchum on the bottom. The 5 going to try to take it after being the dominant car of the day. 3 wide across the line. And Mason Mitchum goes back to back after his win at Milwaukee. Chicagoland, the other focus for the second to last race. Mitchum to victory lane with 10 laps led. Passed every single car to get here. Phenomenal drive by Mason Mitchum. And he'll burn it down here on the front stretch. Three 1,000ths of a second for that second place finish. John Steller holds off Wesley Burke. Post-race coverage, interviews with your top 3, and those final race results coming up here on B-Speed. It's the KAYTEE IndyCar Series presented by Mystic.
Real quick, you both stop the real quick cut. Double check the steering wheel. Push roller. Gentlemen, start your engine. Nice and smooth. Get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1, 2, 3 finish.
For that quick break, it's time to bring up those final race results and a quick battle for the lead there at the end of this one. Of about 10 laps after green flag pit stops, Mason Mitchum runs back down on John Steller and Wesley Burke by over 1.5 seconds. Call himself victorious back to back here in the IndyCar Series. John Steller with another podium finish. But the dominant car of the day doesn't get the win again. Wesley Burke is going to finish in that top 3. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment. 4th place is going to go to Lilac Zier. Corey Kobe will finish in 5th with Reggie Kime 6th position. Evan Gilmet will finish in 7th. Tyler Willing 1 lap down will finish in 8th. Then you have Marius Ezekiel Marcomini finishing out here, Night John Ullman in 10th position. Back here to 11th spot with Steven Addington in the 81. Jaden Walker will finish out 12th. Robert Howard in the 50, finishing out 13th. Heavy damage, 39 laps down. Zachary King with an early exit as well. Michael Wade off the racetrack with Kyle Turzak. We saw him battle for the lead briefly into the outside wall at 16th. Drew Green will finish 17th. Matthew Gary in the 97 and 7 Hawthorne in the 18, rounding out your field here today. There's a little discrepancy there between May and a few others, but ultimately off the racetrack to finish out the night. Now it's time to bring up your top 3 finishers, and the first driver we're going to talk to going to be Mason Mitchum in the number 3. Back-to-back winner now after Milwaukee, now on to Chicagoland. I'm going to say, Mason, excuse me, there's something about you coming from the back of this field and passing all these cars. It's just so much more respectable. You can see somebody run up front all day long, but when you're out there doing the strategy and working this car all the way to the front, it seems like maybe for you it's more fun, but for me as a spectator, it's just something else. It's something to admire.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. For me, I guess just like start from the back. I guess just the plan and the reason why I love Mystic is like you always got to think about the strategy. Like they're running 40% fuel tanks, so how do you find a way to cut yourself a stop? So I was like, can we go 25 laps? No, that was not going to happen, right? So I was like, can we go 20? And you can go 20 if you save gas behind cars. And so I just never wanted to lead until the end, basically, because I just knew it was all about having that fastest last pit stop. It's just fun though. Like Mystic's fun, We're out here just practicing like strategy and working together as a team, me and John. So it's fun, and I'm glad you're enjoying seeing us work out here.
We go back to that final pit stop, like you mentioned. You come back out on the racetrack with over a second and a half of a gap there between your teammate and Wesley Burke, but you have all the time in the world, really, and that's what's deceitful to me the most, I think, about this IndyCar is that you guys can put this fuel map on and make that up in just 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, for sure. And first thing I want to mention about that last pit stop is I kind of almost messed up there. Whenever I had 1 lap to go on gas, I kind of didn't realize where my pit box was, and I was about, I don't know, a quarter of a lap short on gas, so I had to kind of sputter my way into my box, and that was kind of probably cost me half a second, I imagine. But whenever I came out, I knew I was in range. I had a Lilac coming up behind me. I knew that if anything, me and her could work together and catch up, because it was pretty much a pack race at the end, more or less, because it was 73-degree track temp and it's dark outside. It's going to be easy to make up ground, and they can't really escape from me once you get like under 2 seconds in the draft. So I was like, all right, well, not optimal, but I kind of knew I was in range, and well, I'll trust myself to end the race more often than not.
Again, congratulations. Gained 18 positions to go back to back. I believe it was from the back of the field at Milwaukee as well. Mason Mitchum,
Every race.
Is there anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, first thing I want to shout out, like always, is my team. Votive Racing. Got John Stellard in here today. I had a Lilac. Lilac's part of Taylor Mills Racing, but she's in an alliance with our team, so we work together on all kinds of open setups and things like that. We work together to help move our way around in races and things like that. So I want to congratulate for her. I think she got 4th. I think John got 2nd. So we did overall pretty good job. We would have liked to get 1, 2, and 3, but you know what? Wesley did a good job too. So we'll give him a shout out. But back to Votive Racing. We run a pretty high end league for an IndyCar. We're just trying to get the word out. Votive is where you kind of want to go see your high end league. Check it out. See if it's something that you're interested in to learn more how to do these cars. Right. Other than that, Mystic. Always a fun time. Brandon's out here building a good league, making it fun and interesting. I do like that things in here are a bit different as far as fuel tanks and weather conditions and things like that. It makes it interesting and different, where I'm actually like kind of want to come in here and do it. So that's fun. And other than that, any friends and family who watched, I hope y'all enjoyed. And I guess we have 1 more week to go. I think 7 Hawthorne. Well, I'm not sure what the standings look like now, but I think he's still probably going to win. So, we'll see what happens next week, but most likely he'll be there and take this thing. And we'll see if next season I can maybe do some road courses and get a little bit better at those so I can compete in that side of things. Other than that, that's all I got. I hope you have a good rest of the day.
Mason Mitchum, winner here, led the last 10 laps, started 19th. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Now on to our second place finisher. It's going to be John Steller, another one that got away. The dominant car of the day does not finish in victory lane. It's another podium, though, John. I got to say, though, how many times are you going to lead over half the race and then have it taken away by a teammate?
I know. I think I've finished I think this is like my fourth or fifth time finishing second in this season. So I'll take it. I'm happy for Mason. I really shot myself in the foot. I think I realized with like 10 laps to go that I didn't have enough fuel to make it, just full pushing. And obviously at that point I had to cycle myself back into the pack and couldn't just hold the bottom anymore. So another week of a little bit of fuel mismanagement on my end, but another week on the podium. So we live with that. And it was fun to be out there.
Yeah, I know that it's hard to live with decisions like that, but you make them spur of the moment. And how hard is it? Because you have all these different maps and all this different strategy that you could play out here. This race goes green from the beginning to the end. You probably already have that in mind, but then it gets more complicated the more that we run and have cautions. Everything changes over and over.
Oh yeah, and like we're trying to decide, I'm racing with Mason, so we're trying to decide should we be taking tires, should we not take tires? I'm trying to manage my anti-roll bars when I'm coming in and out of the pits, making sure they're optimized, making sure I don't spin the tires, managing cold tires. There's a lot going on. So to still make it across the finish line in second, maybe I wasn't the extreme optimization that I know I'm capable of and that Mason pulled off once again this week, but still happy to be with it. So just a good race overall, and I had a good time.
Finally, John, I got to ask you, 3 wide across the finish line, 0.003 of a second. You have a teammate there just in front of you. It got close and tight there for those last 2 laps. Walk us through the feeling of that.
Yeah, I really wanted to be in the middle. I said I was racing with Mason, so I knew he was going to the bottom. I told him I was going to come to the apron as well. But Wesley got his nose in there, so I never quite made it all the way down to the apron. And we live with that. We just hold our lane, and I got rewarded for it. I don't think I was going to win the race there, but I still got my second place. So just happy that we didn't wreck there, and we're able to put on a clean finish with Wesley.
Again, congratulations on the podium. I know this is another one of those bitter taste races, but we still have an opportunity to victory lane when we go to Nashville next week. Anybody you want to shout out before we head there?
Yeah, of course. I'll just shout out Mason again. Shout out to him for his win. Another great strategy call on his end. I think over and over again, Mason shows he's a smart driver first and foremost, and then right behind that, he's a really good race car driver. But the mind of Mason driving that car, the crew chief, if you will, who's in the vehicle, manages to pull it out week after week, always seeming to be just on the perfect strategy. If you watch IndyCar, maybe that's a little Pillow like you may say from that 10 car on the Chip Ganassi crew. So just shout out to Mason. I've learned a ton racing with him this season in Mystic, and I'm looking forward to more with him.
Again, congratulations, John. We'll see you at Nashville Super Speedway to wrap up the season. Good luck.
Yep. Thanks, Bradley. See ya.
And finally, we bring in our top 3 finisher, Wesley Burke, in the number 7. And Wesley, again, it's a stab at the lead, and then the car comes down pit road. You had all these opportunities to just, take the lead, and then it seemed like they had a different idea every time you got there.
Yeah, it was still Bradley. But yeah, that was a real fun race. Kind of threw it away out of 2 by going high there. Just got tight and washed up. But I threw everything I had at it, so that's all I can really hope for. And just came away with P3. So
Start of this race, you come out 10th position. A lot of calamity happens there early. Almost get yourself involved in a couple different things. But then once it started to level off, I think that's where once we got these green flag runs, that's really where you started to strive.
oh yeah, I love long runs in the IndyCar. I was saving the entire race because I was trying to get it to where I could be like 5 laps up, going like I think we had like 18 laps of fuel, was 18, 19 laps of fuel. Is what we were going for. So trying to make 5 pit stops instead of 6. So I was trying to stretch it just a little bit, but we kept getting caution, so it ended up not mattering a ton. But yeah, that final run, John said he was having to save, so I tried to go for it, but it slowed us down to the cars behind, so we weren't able to settle between us. So yeah, it was real fun. I love IndyCar. Don't get to run them much, but it's always fun when I get to.
Again, Wesley, that 3,000th of a second across the start finish line. It was almost 3 wide all the way through that line. Fantastic finish. You made it interesting. And I'm sure it made it interesting for the people watching at home. Go ahead and shout them out.
Oh yeah, I gotta thank you up here in the booth for putting this on. Gotta thank Brandon and all the other admins for putting the league on, and all the league sponsors. And then I thank my personal sponsor, Premier Racing Setups, for making amazing oval and dirt sets. You use my code BERG15 at checkout to get 15% off your setups.
Again, Wesley, thank you for your time. We'll see you in 7 days at Nashville Super Speedway, the 1.33 miler to finish out the season.
Yeah.
There you have it, your third place finisher here at Chicagoland. It's Wesley Burke in the number 7 with the top 3. Mason Mitchum goes back to back, but it's on to next week. Still a lot of racing left to be done. I gotta say, a long season that I was just a part of for the very end of this thing. So if you look at the next race, this is a unique place to come to. I think it could set up for what we see as maybe the most exciting racing we've seen all year. Again, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Season finale, August 31st. For Mystic Racing League and the KAYTEE IndyCar Series. Catch it all here on V-Speed. We have Truck Series action and Cup Series action coming up this week as well for Mystic. And Goat Locker started up here tonight. Going on all week long for Goat Locker Racing. We have a variety of different cars all the way through to Saturday. Catch that here on V-Speed as well. That's going to do it for me, your host, Bradley Cooper, with camera packs here provided by Dougie Beard. You can check us out on X at VSpeedSim, VSpeedSim.com if you'd like to contact us for your broadcasting needs. For Anna Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, and everyone that helped put this on with Brandon Willard and the Mystic Racing League, saying so long from Chicagoland. We're on to the concrete oval, 1.33 miles for the season finale. Back-to-back wins for Mason Mitchum. We'll see you next time. Stay tracking, everybody.